Whether we agree with what's being said about Pokemon or not, we are excited to find out what happens next in this big story of Pokemon, because it is a big part of our childhood. It's always going to hold special memories for us. Well, at least me. In this episode, we're going to look at one of your favorite legendary Pokemon. One of the best in the entire universe, which has a water nature. The beast we're going to be discussing today is none other than Kyogre. Kyogre is a Generation 3 legendary Pokemon of the water type. It serves as Pokemon Sapphire and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire's version mascot. It's also a primal Pokemon. It has the appearance of a large, dark orca, or blue whale. It has broad fins, or wings, with 4 square-shaped claws at the end. Its body is dark blue, with 2 spikes protruding from under its white chin area. There are 2 white specks over each eye. Its wings are marked with patterns that resemble an A with circle on top. On its back, it also has 2 small dorsal fins and 2 horizontal stripes below the fins. The 4 stripes in the tail appear torn, with the inner tail being shorter than the outer. It also possesses a mouthful of sharp, triangular teeth, which are rarely seen. Primal Kyogre is more than twice as big, has a darker blue body, and has a golden light burning from within its somewhat translucent body, emitting bioluminescence. Instead of the typical red stripes, it has light blue lines on its body. Its 2 huge fins' 4 tips are completely white. Its enormous fins typically are opaque, but central section turns translucent, and the nearest 2 points of each fin bear crimson markings that resemble the letter H. The big circular marks in the middle of each of its fins, coupled with the 2 outside red dots on each fin, change color to blue, and combine to form the alpha symbols. Its 4 white oval spots in the top center of its head have a circle marking, which is connected by lines to the more significant oval spots at higher ends, which are now transparent. And at the end of its frayed tail, the center of which is the same hue as the glow that covers the most of his body. In gaining Groudon, Kyogre makes its physical main series debut. Team Magma wanted to trade with Team Aqua, who possessed Groudon because Team Magma had Kyogre, but they lacked the proper orb to control it. When Archie decided to employ Kyogre to wipe out everybody, including his fellow henchmen, the transaction was about to be completed. Kyogre and Groudon engaged in combat in the Scuffle of Legends. Kyogre was awakened in Mega Evolution Special 2 by the Giant Rock. It was depicted in Mega Evolution Special 3, engaging Primal Groudon in combat over the Giant Rock in its primitive state. Kyogre was one of the several Water-type Pokemon who had came in Samia in Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea when Ash swapped out all of the Sea Crown's crystals. Kyogre was a part of the uproar that followed the Phantom's attempt to use supersonic waves from his ship to make all of the water types fear. Some of the Whale Lord breaking through the Phantom's boat and some Chinchou swimming into the opening and short-circuiting the ship. Manafi used Heart Swap to soothe the Pokemon and remove their confusion. Kyogre then destroyed the spacecraft with Super Beam. In Jirachi, Wishmaker's opening sequence, Kyogre is given a screen debut while swimming along the seafloor. Kyogre has several minor experiences as well. For example, Kyogre made his main series debut in the fantasy film Unfair Weather Friends. In Destiny Deoxys' introductory scene, a Kyogre made an appearance. He leaped out of the water and dove back in at the opening of the scene of the Rise of Darkrai. Giratina and the Sky Warriors opening scene also featured a Kyogre. In Zoro Arc, Master of Illusion's opening scene, a Kyogre might be seen. Lastly, Kyogre appeared in the fantasy. We know where you're going, Eevee. So you're probably wondering about Kyogre's powers, so let's check out the stats. The health of basic Kyogre is 160 to 200 at level 50, while it goes to 310 to 404 while at level 100. Attacking power at level 50 is between 94 to 169, while it can spike up to 184 to 328 at level 100. The defensive mechanism is between 85 to 156 on level 50, and 166 to 306 on level 100. The speed at level 50 varies between an 85 to 156, and goes up to 166 to 305 at level 100. The total score as compared to another Pokemon is 670. The health of Primal Kyogre is 160 to 207 at level 50, while it goes to 310 to 404 at level 100. Attacking power at level 50 is between 139 to 222, while it can spike up to 274 to 438 at level 100. Defensive stature is between 85 to 156 on level 50, while 166 to 306 at level 100. And the speed at level 50 varies between 85 to 156, and it goes up to 166 to 339 at level 100. The total score, as compared to another Pokemon, is 770. The overall rating of speed is 3/4, while power is 4/4, whereas a skill set is 5/5. So the stamina of is also maximum rated 5 out of 5. And last but not least, the agility of this Pokemon is 3 out of 4 in rating. Hence, the total aggregate achieved by this Pokemon is 2022. Considering everything, we can confidently say that the water monster is here. The Kyogre. Under the normal conditions in Generation 8, the Kyogre is... Kyogre, it's all words. But anyways, he's damaged normally by fighting, flying, dark, and fairy, whereas its weakness includes grass and electric. This Pokemon has no such immunity and is resistant to steel, fire, water, and ice. Speaking of statistics, it's time to share Kyogre's skill set and ability. Origin Pulse is the name of this Pokemon's trademark move. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire introduced the damage-dealing water-type move known as Origin Pulse. All opponents nearby are damaged by the Origin Pulse attack. When used by a Pokemon with the ability Mega Launcher, its power is increased by 50%. Pokemon Sword and Shield's Origin Pulse could not be used in battle in versions of 1.0 to 1.2.1. It is usable and continues to operate as it did in earlier generations, as of version 1.3.0. Other effects may include if a Pokemon is trained in Origin Pulse in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It cannot be exchanged to Pokemon X or Y, and if it's taught in Origin Pulse and Pokemon Bank, it can't be removed from Pokemon X or Y. The Pokemon must completely forget Origin Pulse before they may be transferred to Pokemon X and Y. It has the power to call forth storms that raise the sea level. According to legend, Kyogre represents the sea itself in human form. Legends speak of the numerous conflicts with Groudon as both sides fought for control over nature. It will revert to its original state through primal reversion, and with the full force of nature. Another ability of this Pokemon is the Drizzle. As soon as a Pokemon with Drizzle enters a battle, rain is summoned. Its effects are identical to those of the move Rain Dance, except they persist throughout the war as opposed to just a certain number of rounds, unless it's replaced by another type of water. The ability Primordial Sea, also known as Sea of the Beginning in Japanese, was first introduced in Generation 6. It is Primal Kyogre's distinguishing talent. Desolate Land improves the Fire-type moves, while Primordial Sea boosts Water-type activities. Kyogre's Primordial Sea, which functions identically like Groudon's power, counters Desolate Land. Every time a Kyogre holds the blue orb item, switches in, the heavy rain will start to fall, giving all Water-type moves a 1.5x boost, while activating the typical effects on moves and abilities like Swift Swim and Dry Skin. Another Primal Kyogre special is the Hydro Pump. The most well-known Water-type move in all of Pokemon is arguably Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump, first introduced in Gen 1, lacks any secondary effects, but it makes up for it in power. It used to deal 120 damage, but starting in Gen 5, it's only 110. The best charge move for Kyogre is Surf, which has Stab and Waterfall synergy. If no TM's available, Hydro Pump lags a little bit, but it is still adequate. Blizzards and Thunder are ideal only in a few circumstances, as they don't really go well with waterfalls. Given the information mentioned earlier, it's evident that undeniably that Kyogre is the best Water-type Pokemon in the entire universe. Kyogre is the only Water-type Pokemon that is likely to be the strongest. Kyogre, a legendary Water-type Pokemon, is a near-perfect performer. It has unrivaled attacking power, resilience, and exceptional accuracy with long-range water moves. For long-time Pokemon enthusiasts, this shouldn't be too shocking. In addition to having legendary beginnings, Kyogre is highly well-liked for having some truly impressive stats. We certainly hope that you all liked today's episode, so yeah, do let us know which is your favorite Pokemon in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next one. Adios!